Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat, and I am back for another I Saw It in Somerset Studio Magazine craft together type things. So this time we are going to do these leaves and focus, mostly on the leaves because you could use them in loads of different ways. She has made like a little journal book that slides into this pocket, and so you can see the pages there. I'm not sure how to do that style of binding. I mean, I'm sure I could have found it, but I wanted to focus more just on making some journal cards, or you could use them to make card toppers for fall or a birthday card, or you could do thinner version to make tags. So I'm more focusing on maybe how we do it rather than making a book just like she did, although that's gorgeous and you could definitely do that. That's just not what I'm going to do on this one. So think about that when you're looking through these magazines. They're more just ideas, much like YouTube videos that just give you kind of a jumping off point. Because you're probably not going to have the exact same materials and things like that. So even if you can't make the exact thing or don't want to, you can make something inspired by the idea, right? So that's kind of what we're going to do today. So first I want to show you real quick. I have a 6-page new digital in the shop. It's fall Polaroids. So they're just all sort of autumnal. There's a few Halloween ones, but I don't feel like there's anything too spooky or scary or whatever. I've done some itty bitty ones that can be used kind of like postage stamps, all the way up to these, and that's obviously bigger than a Polaroid. Those ones are 3 3/4 roughly by just over 4 1/2, 4 3/4. So yeah, so there's 6 pages. It's a small kit, but just a fun little kit. These would be great, I think, to turn into journaling cards or little decorative pieces for your fall journal. And yeah, you just have something a little different and fun to play with. So as you can see, most of them are autumnal. There are, like I said, just a few of the maybe leaning more towards Halloween. And there are duplicate images because most of the big images I shrunk down, in different ways to become the smaller images. So you will see some repeat that way, but you won't see repeat as far as to exactly this size and that image. All right, so what we're going to do first is, I'll show you what I did first, is I took a dictionary page. You want to keep your papers pretty thin, like don't use super thick papers. And that's because when we do the part with the incense stick burning the leaves, the holes and things in the leaves, you're going to want to keep it thin because the incense sticks will not burn through it easily if it's too thick. And I even did some of these, I painted over them with gesso first before I burnt them, and that was even harder to get through. So my suggestion is to just keep your papers very thin. Like I have the dictionary page, which is very thin, and then I have some of the cicada wing paper, which is really just like a tissue type paper. It's very thin, so if you don't have that, you can just use maybe a colored tissue of some kind. Thin book page, just keep it thin. That just makes the burning of the holes a whole bunch easier, okay? And I was thinking then maybe add a little gesso if you want gesso on them. I had to play around with it for a while to figure out what works best. Then you can just freehand yourself some leaves, which is what this one is, or you can see on the back of these I have stamps that I've used if you're wanting to be more precise about what your leaf looks like. These are Tim Holtz leaves. Oh, I thought they'd have the image of it on the back. I couldn't remember, but anyway, you can stamp on the back and then just cut around the outside to get just a cool, leaf shape on those. I have these Stampin' Up! Ones and these Tim Holtz ones, but you can just freehand it. So if you don't have that, don't worry about it. And real quick before I forget, I want to say a huge super thanks to Jan. I love you, Jan. You're so sweet and generous to me, and I really, really appreciate it very, very much. So thank you. I want to say hugs and blessings to Melon, Fern, and Kathy. Thank you guys for your sweet, sweet comments. I really appreciate that as well. So if you can comment on my video, it is greatly appreciated. So I'm going to go ahead and cut maybe just another leaf or so. I kind of like these. They're a little bit bigger than the stamped ones, and I just think it'll work well. The thing is, these kind, I'm not good at freehand cutting, so we're just gonna keep it simple for the sake of the video, just so you can kind of see how you can do it. And I don't want to take forever cutting, and then, you know, everybody's like, yeah, whatever, we got it. So we're just gonna wing it. And I don't know if this is a real leaf or not, but I am not so good at the freehanding the leaves. So how is everybody? I hope you're all doing well. I want to thank you all so much for all your kind comments last week on the paintbrush video in this series. That was a very fun. I'm not good at this. I want to make them too roundy, and they're not roundy. They're supposed to be leaves. For all your kind comments and, you know, thank yous and things like that on that video. That was like probably one of my top videos. Okay, that one's horrible. So we're going to go with this one, and I'll just show you what I did. I would probably keep stamping them if I wanted something different than something like that. So if you want something like that, I'll just show you. That one was a little bit easier. I kind of just do the stem at the bottom, go out, and I kind of did some waviness to it. So it's not just a, you know, straight flat type thing. And then back down the other side. And if it's a little fatter on one, then you can even do that, and it's fine. And then if you wanted, you could do another one of those type. Yeah, I'm not good at the freehand with leaves. I don't know. That's not my gig. Scissors aren't my gig. So anyway, you know, something simple like that. All right. Or like I said, stamp them, then cut them out. And then I'm probably only going to burn one of these in the house because I really don't like the smell of it. And so I prefer to do it outside. But if you do it in your house, especially in your craft room where there's a ton of paper, I would suggest not to, because I don't want to be responsible for that. But I have metal, I have my glass of water. It's just smart because you're burning paper in your house. You know what I'm saying? It's just smart to think about that. And you don't want to blow too hard because you could blow the little sparks of the incense wherever and all those kind of things. So I don't know. I'm just saying. I would say do it outside. But see, there it burns pretty easy, and it's going to keep burning until you blow on it. So think about that. And if you lay it on its side, you'll get a little bit bigger, obviously, burn. And you can blow gently on it to make it spread out in there. And you don't have to do a whole lot to the edge when you're cutting them out, because you can burn little divots and edges and nicks and whatever in it. Because these are, I think the idea is supposed to be like, they're the old leaves, you know, after they fall and they're on the ground and they're brittle. And they're not new and strong and all those things. Ugh. Yeah, these are not my favorite, these incense sticks. But I like this technique a lot. And I don't even know if I'm doing it the way the person in the magazine did it. I'm just doing my own thing. See, and then you have that happen, which is another reason why I suggest having something metal. You can also throw them in there. It's hot. Yeah, I would not suggest doing this on a whole lot. And sometimes it takes it a minute to like really get going. So if you blow really light, and it could be these sticks, I have no idea. I tried to get mostly natural because I didn't want the chemicals of some of them. See, it is a little trickier to burn than you would imagine. But it does work, and it is kind of cool. Oh, you guys probably can't see very well because I keep holding it sideways. But you can just, you know, do a few. My suggestion would be to get a bunch of them ready, obviously cut out and ready to go, and then maybe go outside, burn your holes in them, and go from there. So yeah, I did the collage ahead of time because I knew, you know, that's kind of a tedious thing. But you want to sort of use smaller pieces of paper rather than really big pieces, because you have to think, okay, I'm going to be cutting, I'm actually going to stick this back in here. I'm going to be cutting them up into leaves that aren't giant, right? So if I use a giant piece of, say, this number paper, that's all you're going to see for your whole leaf. You want to see all kinds of different things. So just think about that when you're making your collage sheet. Do maybe more smaller bits all over, and it'll just give you a better effect to your leaf when you're done. And then if you want, I would say do some I'm going to grab that back. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place with this just because I don't want this stuff all over my table. But I'm going to get rid of a little bit of that before I put this on, because it'll just turn it black, which is kind of what happened to some of my other pieces. But yeah, take them outside, make a couple, and then, I mean, obviously you got to be careful outside too, because if you have any dry brush or anything like that, but I'm just going to put it on here. I was looking for a piece of plastic, but of course I don't have one right here. And I kind of want this a little bit dry. I don't want it to be like super thick, because I like all the stuff that's on there, right? So you don't want to cover all that up. While we're at it, I have a piece of, it's just fun to kind of have it in a few spots. I have a piece of fabric too that I want to do that to a little bit, that we're going to use. This is just coffee dyed, kind of a cream colored fabric. That side's even better. And it's just, I think, a cotton of some kind. I just, scrap I had that I coffee dyed. This will just make your pieces show up a little bit more. I'm doing this now so I can move on. Probably you could tape it down and do a better job. I always have to do it the difficult way. I don't know why. That's just the way that I am. Okay, I just want a little on there. I don't want a lot. And then I am going to take, like I did with my other leaves, you might notice, So these are all the ones that I've done so far. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide, and this one is the Campfire. And I just kind of like to do a little bit. It'll just give you some of that autumn look. And if that's not what you're going for, like if you want more green or something, then definitely use a green one. I mean, you don't have to do it the way that I am. I think it is good to add some different colors like this if you have a tissue paper and a little darker. Even if you if you only have white tissue paper, like if you're just starting out and you only have the white tissue paper, maybe do a real dark coffee dye on it. If you use instant coffee, you can kind of get a darker look, you know. Just don't mix it with as much water. And I think that that works out well. I'm going to get this dry and my fabric dry, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with my leaf all dry. And then what I was also thinking is some of you might be like, I'm not burning anything in my craft room, and I don't want to go outside. So maybe what you could do if you have like a few different size hole punches is you could do a couple little hole punches right together, kind of like that, in a few spots. You know, if you just keep moving it over just a tiny bit, you can get kind of those irregular looks to that. And that might even be a way if you want to get started with your burning like that, just by, I don't know, getting it going, basically, is what I'm thinking. And then you could take, where's my, and maybe sand it a little bit. I don't even really think you have to do that. I think it would work just fine to do it that way. And then take your ink, and I'm going to use my Scorched Timber because, you know, it's a little bit darker. If you want the look that it did get singed a little bit. See, I think that that would work just as fine. I mean, I don't think that that is such a huge difference that it's going to be really obvious. So if you don't want to burn at all, that would be my suggestion, is to maybe use a couple different size small hole punches. The big hole punches, obviously, you might end up with some really crazy holes in it that you're not going to like. But if you do some smaller size hole punches, you might even be able to just kind of snip with your scissors and just tear a tiny bit, and that might work too. So there's a few different things you can do, because I know I don't love the burning part, but I mean, it does, I like the effect. So anyway, then what I have is glue pages, and if you see any bad words on either of these, I apologize. They're dollar store books, and sometimes there are bad words, so I didn't write them. That's all I could say. I didn't write it. So this is super old book page. I probably shouldn't even mess with it, but I do want just a little bit around the edge. Now in the magazine, hers are much cleaner than what I normally do, and I love them. It's just not, I don't know, I struggle. You guys know with the wanting to ink, but very clean. So you don't have to do any inking if you don't want to, because they're beautiful. So you do it the way you like to. So I'm going to glue that on. And she did like the watercolor paper in the background too, but she's using them as pages. So I want to use this as a journaling card, as I mentioned. So I'm just going to cover some glue page that I have. And then the back, I'll put some, what do you call it? Like tea-dyed paper on. And you could do as many layers as you want to. We've talked about the layer thing, and layers are fantastic. So you do it the way you want to do it. I'm sorry it's loud out if you can hear it. My sister says you can't hear it, so, but I never know. Anyway, it's garbage trucks. And you just never know when they're going to come, but they usually always come when I do a video, so every week. Every week. That one goes with that. It's hard to remember what I did with each. I tried to sort of set them up a little bit so they're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and back this since I have it here ready. I'm going to use this as kind of my splattery tea dye, coffee dye. You can do both ways. I just take my white paper, drip using one of those little pipettes. I just drip coffee or tea onto my white paper, let it dry, do it again, let it dry. Sometimes I do it a third time if I want more blobs and whatever on. And you get that effect so that you can keep some of the paper white. Because if you stick it into the coffee or tea, most times it's going to turn the whole thing coffee or tea colored. So that helps. And you can measure if you don't want to do this all janky like I do. I think I'm allergic to the ruler. And I'm just going light around the edges there. So I hope you guys are doing well. I am having a good day. Just been busy. We have to go tomorrow and get our passports for hopefully our cruise next year. So that will be good. Hopefully my daughter will be feeling a little bit better. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this leaf. I like the way it turned out. It's better than some of the other ones. You know, sometimes make a few, because a lot of times your first ones, you're like, is this even going to work? Because I don't really like that. So definitely try a few different things. Because like I said, the first batch I painted with the gesso and then tried to burn the holes in them. And it wasn't easy. And I think I put too much gesso on because you couldn't hardly see any of the book page. And, you know, just a lot of things. So my suggestion would definitely be to try a few things before you settle on it's a yay or a nay kind of a situation. Because rarely does it just work out miraculously in the first try. I mean, they're fine. They're just not, I don't know, I like that a lot better. All right, so then I also have, because she kind of took some other little tidbits and added them. And so I'm going to do the same, just barely going around this just a little bit. That's a piece of a security envelope. So we're just going to put that on. I could use glue stick, but I'm just going to use this because it's here. Okay, and then this is just, I cut this off of a book page. It was like in where the publication information is. So it was just fun because it's, you know, letters, numbers. And she did something sort of similar to that, and I'll show you in just a second here. They look to me to be like page numbers anyway, right there, and it's stapled. So I'm going to go ahead and staple mine too, I think. Oh, I don't know where my stapler is. I guess I'm not going to staple it. Oh, there it is. Thought I had everything put away. So there's that. And then down here at the bottom, I think I'm going to go with, I can't remember if it was this one. No, I think it was this. It's just a piece of dictionary fabric that I have. That's Tim Holtz dictionary fabric. And a little rusted safety pin. And I'm just going to put that right there. And just like that, see, that would be a great card topper, great, what do you call it? Journaling card. Sorry, I drew a blank there for a second. I'm just going to kind of go around here, just very, with my crazy dauber that's losing fluff. So there's one, and I will stitch around this. It's going to be a little sketch. It's going to be sort of like start stitching, stop, start, stop, because I have that and that are metal. It'd probably be smarter to stitch first and then glue those on, but doing a video makes it a little trickier. Okay, this is the page I think that might have not great words in it, so I'm just going to apologize up front for the words in the book because I didn't write it. We'll put this on the back first. And then I will also stitch around these, and so you guys can see. That's why I use those books as glue books. Because, oh my goodness, sometimes. I mean, we've all heard those words, but it doesn't mean you want to look at it all the time, right? Plus, when you stitch around them, it'll help make sure that your glue page stays together. As you know, they do like to pop open a little bit in places, because it's not like you purposefully put glue on every corner. I put glue on this and I still messed up, so there you go. Okay, so that part's done. Then we're going to put some textured paper, and this paper is book page, and I know it's really hard to see. Book page that I painted over with just gesso, let it dry completely, and then put it through an embossing envelope in my Big Shot, and you get that. And I don't know what embossing envelope that is. It's just one I've had forever and a day. And it doesn't have anything on it. It's just, I think it was just a cheap one because I didn't really get into that, and I only have like, I think 2 or 3. So I end up using this one most of the time. I'm doing this with this glue just because this is textured. It would probably be fine with the glue stick, but just make sure it's gonna stay down. I'm not inking, although it's killing me. The one thing with these, when you try to tear around the edges, a lot of times it tears out a section. It's wherever it was embossed, and it does that. But I kind of like that. I think it's fine. And then we have our coffee dyed fabric that's going to go on there. And I'm kind of scooting it more over this way. You don't have to. I just wanted to see maybe a little bit more of the embossing. You could even just very lightly touch your embossing so that it shows a little more. Yeah, I like that. It'll show up better. And this I am going to just put down with glue stick because I'm going to stitch around it for sure to make sure it stays. Okay, and on this one, I think I will use this leaf because it kind of shows up nicely on there. And I'm using art glitter glue. You could use tacky glue, Fabri-Tac, 3-in-1, whatever they're called. Whatever you like. I'm kind of using a lot because sometimes art glitter glue doesn't love fabric, so. Yeah, I really think that works just as well as burning the holes. So totally your choice what you wanna do there. Okay, and this one I'm going to use this Never Let Go of Your Dreams. And what am I going to put that on with? I think I'll use the art glitter glue again. And that's just a piece of, like a scrap of book page, the edge that I tore off of around the script. And one of those little, I don't think that one's Tim Holtz saying, but you could use, you know, those type of little, it's these type of things for that. Or if you have other sayings like Mrs. Coggs Crafts, she has some neat autumn phrases and things like that that you could use. And then up at the top, I think I might, that says curl, but doesn't really matter what it says. And then I'll probably take the paper clip and put it on there, but I'm going to stitch around it first so that I don't have the metal hanging me up on this one. And I don't know if I want to put another safety pin. I could put it down a little lower. They're just kind of fun, the little rusty bits. This one like turned almost black. Put it down just a little bit. You could add any number of things though, I feel like, and they would be really cool. Or as few things as you like, because they do look cool if they're sort of simple, you know. All right, I will stitch around those and I will come back and show you. Okay, I am back. So I'm just going to bring this back out to show you. She used or has these different type of paper clips. So if you have those look really cool. And then you can see here, she put one of the little page numbers over there. She went around the leaves multiple times, added some extra thread. I added some extra thread on one of mine. But, oh, and I forgot to say who did this. I keep doing that. Mags Woodcock is her name. And she also did this, which is super cool. It's like a stick with moss and stuff on it, with what looks to be a wire, strings, and then she hung the leaves on there, which is another fantastic idea. So Mags Woodcock is her name, and then this is my take on it. So you can see I added a little extra thread on that one. And then this one we have a different take still, but added the paper clip. I like the paper clip. So yeah, those are super fun. I hope you guys give it a try and, you know, do it in your own style or however. Maybe just grab an idea, and it's just a lot of fun. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you all again soon. Love ya. Bye.